Mimizuka, a silent monument of war in Kyoto, Japan. There is a mound many people walk past without knowing what lies beneath. A mound with a simple, almost poetic name, Mimizuka, the ear mound. But what it holds is not poetic at all. Inside are the preserved noses and ears, taken during a 16th century conflict between the armies of Japanese warlords and Korean and Chinese defenders. This is a historical site, a silent monument of war. Chapter 1. The War That Created the Mound. Our story begins in the late 1500s, during the Imjin War, also known as the Japanese invasions of Korea from 1592 to 1598. This conflict was led by Toyotomi Hideyoshi, one of Japan's most powerful warlords, who sought to expand his rule beyond the Japanese archipelago. The invasions involved Hideyoshi's military forces, Korean defenders, including militias and naval forces, and Ming Dynasty Chinese troops supporting Korea. The war was brutal and long-lasting, with enormous casualties on all sides. Chapter 2. The nose and ear tally during this period. Commanders needed proof of battlefield results. Traditionally, samurai forces presented severed heads as evidence of enemy kills, but transporting thousands of heads across the sea was impractical, so orders shifted to something easier to carry and record. Ears and noses. Soldiers preserved them in salt, packed them into barrels, and shipped them back to Japan as wartime tallies. This practice is well documented in historical records from the period. It was not unique to Japan. Similar practices appeared in other early military cultures, but the scale during this conflict was unusually large. Chapter 3. The Creation of Mimizuka. By the end of the Imjin War, enormous quantities of these preserved remains had reached Japan. Warlord Toyotomi Hideyoshi ordered them buried in Kyoto. Around 1597 to 1598, workers built a mound near Haikiji Temple. The memorial was named Mimizuka, Ear Mound. Despite the name, historical studies suggest that the majority of the remains are noses, because the term ear was sometimes used as a softer or more respectful expression. Inside the mound are the remains of Korean victims of the war, Chinese soldiers who fought alongside Korea, and possibly some non-combatants caught in the conflict. Chapter 4. A site wrapped in silence for centuries. Mimizuka received little attention. It was neither celebrated nor destroyed. It simply remained a quiet, grassy hill in the middle of Kyoto. Historical tension surrounding the Imjin War made the site sensitive. Modern Japan, of course, is vastly different from the era of samurai and warlords. Yet the mound stands as a reminder of how violent the pre-modern world could be, and how wars can leave emotional scars that last long after the fighting ends. Today, Mimizuka is listed as a cultural property, but it is still relatively unknown among visitors. Chapter 5. The human costs behind the mound. It's easy to say tens of thousands of remains, but harder to imagine the people behind the numbers. They were Korean villagers defending their homes, soldiers from both Korea and the Ming Dynasty, and civilians caught between armies. Each ear or nose represents a life cut short, not a statistic, but a story, a family. A life interrupted by a war centuries ago. Mimizuka stands as a rare physical reminder of the individual human cost of early warfare. Chapter 6. How the site is seen today. Today, Mimizuka is a small but important historical landmark. Korean delegations sometimes visit to honor the dead. Japanese scholars study it as part of early modern military history. Tourists occasionally stop by, though many still pass without realizing its significance. Some historians advocate for more public education about the site, while others believe its quiet existence is itself a message, a reminder of the complex and painful history shared across East Asia. Mimizuka is not a myth. It is a silent monument, standing in the heart of Kyoto, preserving the memories of those lost in a centuries-old conflict. A reminder that history is not only written in documents, sometimes it is written in the earth.